Good day to all of you. Yesterday we left off where Pahom was feeling very envious of his neighbor who was buying 50 acres of land from the lady. So he had a conversation with his wife and told her about his desire also to acquire some land of their own. So, when they put their heads together, they realized that what they had with them was about 100 rubles. Along with 100 rubles, they also decided that they would sell off their colt. Colt is the young one of a horse, and also one half of their bees, since they also reared bees. They had hives, so they decided to sell one half of those, and also they hired their son as a laborer and took his wages in advance. And the rest of the money they borrowed from a brother in law, and it was just enough for them to purchase half to have half of the purchase money. So after Pahom did this, after having collected the means of uh, purchasing or having the half of the purchase money, he chose a farm of 40 acres. Now, this farm, some of it was wooded also, and some was in the form of a plain. And he went to the lady and bargained for it, and they came to an agreement. And Pahom gave her a advance in deposit. They signed the deeds, and Pahom promised to pay the rest of the money within 2 years. Now Pahom was very happy because he had a land of his own. He borrowed the seed, he sowed it on the land he had bought. The harvest was very good, and within 1 year, he had so much profit that he had managed to pay off his debts both to the lady and also to his brother in law. Now he was very satisfied and contented that he had become a land owner, having his own land, sowing on his own land, harvesting his own land, cutting down his own trees, feeding his own cattle in his on his pasture, plowing his fields, growing his corn, and doing all this gave him a great sense of joy and satisfaction. And when he looked at this land and how the flowers were blooming over there, how there was so much of harvest, he had that sense of great satisfaction. In Unit 3, we are told by the author how Pahom was having that sense of contentment, and everything was going on well except for one thing. And that one thing was that the neighboring peasants were trespassing on his cornfields and meadows. Now, just as at one point of time Pahom's cattle, his horse, and others were straying into the meadow of the other lady, similarly, now he had become a landowner and he was also facing the same problem. So, he told the neighbors, warned them to not let the cows stray into his meadows. But the neighbors or the peasants did not listen. He kept forgiving them, and for a long time he did not prosecute anyone. But finally, he lost his patience and he complained to the district court and uh, put a case against those peasants. As a result of which, Pahom's neighbors began to resent him, grudge him, and one peasant in particular one night got into Pahom's wood and cut down 5 of his young lime trees for their bark. When Pahom came to know about this, he was furious and calculated in his mind who this rascal could be. And he rounded out on one Simon, whom, although he had no proof, felt convinced that he was the one who could have done this. So he lodged a complaint against Simon. Simon was summoned to the court. The case was tried and even retried, and at the end of it all, Simon was acquitted. He was acquitted because there was no evidence against him. At this, Pahom felt very aggrieved and he even took out his anger at the elders and the judges of the court. Continue next time.